off-season edition of Yankees Content Central, and today we're going to be talking about some of Boone's statements today, um, and third base situation because that just got a little bit more interesting as some things got cleared up by Hot Stove and some other reporting. So there is some new stuff to report there, and we'll get started on that in just a second. So, first of all, Aaron Boone spoke today at spring training. So, Max Goodman, who's a fantastic reporter for the Yankees, put together a compilation of bullet points, and I'll go a little bit more in depth on the bullet points, but he put together pretty much the talking points of what Boone said. I did carve out the time today, and I sat down and I watched it live. I ran back to my room to watch it. I was leaving work and I was running across campus to get back to my room and get it on, and I was able to. So I was able to see what Boone had to say today. Not gonna lie, I don't hate it. I don't love it. There's not everything. It could be better, but it was all expected. And then I'll show some other things. So he's not going to put anything past DJ LeMahieu to stay healthy. We have heard this day in and day out for the past month and a half now, where DJ LeMahieu is going to be fine. He's going to be able to start. It doesn't matter. He's going to be fine. DJ's ready. DJ's healthy. I can't tell if they're literally telling us DJ's ready, DJ's healthy, or if they're really getting ready to add someone. I don't have the graphic here, but I will say I watched Hot Stove as well. Jack Curry noted that, Peraza is someone who intrigues him. Obviously, LeMahieu, they don't want that $30 million sitting on the bench, which, let's be real, the cost of DJ LeMahieu should not be costing the Yankees a position. You're the New York Yankees. Act like it. DJ LeMahieu sitting on the bench is the least of your problems this year, or should be. Put DJ LeMahieu on the bench and get a third baseman. They noted it will not be Arenado or Bregman. Kind of knew it wasn't going to be Bregman. Arenado, I thought we had a shot. I guess internally they believe we don't. So that's something. I mean, I don't care. It would have been nice. Then again, do they want to be stuck with a bad contract? You really weigh the pros and cons of having Arenado. Yeah, it'd be great now, but that contract's going to be bad too. Would it just be better for the Yankees right this year to go with what we have internal at least until the deadline? Or, hey, maybe a starting pitcher gets hurt and then the Yankees have Stroman as collateral and someone might need Stroman, and we'll get to Stroman in a second. But they talked up LeMahieu, and then Jack Curry actually mentioned, and this is what I found interesting, I tweeted this out live, that the starting third baseman might not be on the Yankees roster. He said those words. Now, it's not going to be the big names, but it could be someone smaller. Rengifo, Castro. There are some names being floated around now. I don't know. If something happens, it happens. If not, it looks like this is what it's going to be, and I'm not happy about it. Boone said he would like to see Dominguez start in left field, but he is still going to have to earn it. He'll have every opportunity this spring. Wink, wink. He earned it. Come on. You know what? They have to say this. You know why? Because whoever's getting third base is going to have to earn it. And they kept saying that even on Hot Stove. LeMahieu's going to have every opportunity to earn that position. That doesn't mean it's given to him. If Peraza comes out and bats 500 this spring, guess who your starting third baseman is? Peraza. If Oswaldo Cabrera catches fire this spring, guess who your third baseman is? Cabrera. If they bring someone in, it's not DJ LeMahieu. So I think they're saying this. Now, I also am of the belief of they're waiting until the 60-day IL opens up so they could stick someone on there and then play roster merry-go-round, or what is it? Roster musical chairs. My brain's fried. That's what they're going to do. They're waiting until the 60-day IL opens. Boone spoke to Marcus Stroman this morning. He's in a good mental place. It might be a bit of an awkward situation, but the Yankees are getting ready to pitch, and the situation will work itself out. Jack Curry notes that the Yankees are still shopping Marcus Stroman, that in spring training, injuries happen. Whether you like it or not, they do, and a team might be in need of a starting pitcher like Marcus Stroman. I totally agree with that. I obviously, for those who are watching on my general page, which I do have some, know I cover general baseball as well. I do know that there are Cubs starting pitchers yesterday that were reported that one has an elbow issue, one has an oblique. I think it was a mild oblique. It came out today with Javier Assad, and we'll talk about all that stuff, injuries and stuff that come up over the next few days and transactions, probably on Thursday or Friday with the between the bases. So keep posted for that. Um, but URAC, we're 2 days into spring training, and there are starting pitchers going down already. So that's something. So, Stroman's not gone. Are they saying that third base isn't on the roster because they're using Stroman as collateral to get third base? Wouldn't put it past them. That'd be the ideal situation, but it hasn't happened yet. And I think Yankee fans are all in a tizzy right now because nothing's happened yet. And Stroman's on the roster, and third base has not been solved. And all these questions that we had going into the season and going into last season, there are still questions. And people, rightfully so, are worried because 2 years ago, 3 years ago, since Gardner left field was a black hole. And then they got Verdugo, who addressed that. Then they didn't get a third baseman because LeMahieu went down in spring training, late in spring training, but he went down. And Cabrera started the year, and Cabrera was holding it down. Then LeMahieu came back. Then it was a black hole. And you see the moves that the Yankees are trying to patch it up as you go. This is what's going on. It's been like this for years now, and we're only noticing it. Since 2020, the roster construction on this team has been awful. Now, do I think that they're going to try and start fixing their errors? And I think we're seeing that right now, that they could have gone after Bregman but didn't want it. Are they going to start fixing their errors? Yes. Are Yankee fans going to like it? No. Because once LeMahieu's off this roster officially, whether it's just the money or his position itself or both, because I could see them keeping him as a bench bat next year, and that'll be it. After the 26th season, that's it. They're going to go after, they're going to fill that position. They're going to have to. The amount of money coming off the books in the next 2 years for Yankee fans are great. No matter what, if they keep Marcus Stroman, you better believe he is not pitching 140 innings. He will not be, if I can guarantee one thing, he will not be a Yankee after 25. If he is a Yankee at 25. And I don't know if he will be. He could also be used to move at the deadline because he's a serviceable starter. He could be moved at the deadline. So he's in a good mental place, though. That's good. So was he in a bad mental place last year? Oh, and then my favorite part is the first bleeping question from Meredith Morakovitz. Is everyone healthy? Yes, I got the physical reports today. Everything's healthy. Everyone's healthy. Couple questions later. It's good that everyone's healthy. Any off-season injuries? Well, Cousins is hurt. Here, I'll bring that tweet up. He has a right forearm strain and is not expected to begin throwing till next week. And he might not be ready for opening day. What? Oh, and then he brings this one up. Oh, this is better. Clayton Beater has a shoulder issue, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine when spring begins. What? So you just contradicted yourself. We're 5 minutes into this. 5 minutes into this. And everyone's healthy. We're all good. Oh, wait. 2 guys are going on. One guy's IL'd. The other guy should be ready for spring. What? It makes no bleeping sense, Aaron Boone, sometimes. No sense. Leadoff hasn't been determined. Well, what the hell? Cashman said last week we had a decision. We just weren't sharing it yet. Is it not determined yet because you don't know? Or is it not determined yet because it's Jason Dominguez and he needs to earn his spot on the roster? And they can't say Jason Dominguez is leading off for us when you just said that he has to earn his spot. Is that what's going on here? There's so many question marks. You didn't get a leadoff hitter. Why didn't you get a leadoff hitter this offseason? That's been a black hole. Or is DJ LeMahieu going to be the answer for leadoff because he has experience and he's done it before and he's a veteran? Is that what the excuse is going to be? Is that the bullshit, the stuff they're going to give us on opening day? This is annoying. So once again, we don't have a leadoff hitter, and they better not stick Anthony Volpe up there. That'd be a mistake, and we all know it. They should know it by now. I'm a Volpe fan. I need him to lock in this year because we haven't seen his potential yet, and it's year 3 and we need to. But they better not stick him in leadoff. That would be a mistake. You stick him in lead off. He's going to get the pressure, and he's not going to perform. And then you're going to be sitting there like, well, what happened to our prospect? Well, you guys don't know how to draft and develop prospects well since Joe Girardi left. Any coincidence that since Joe Girardi left in 2017 and Boone came on, pretty much every prospect has been a bust? I'm not going to call Volpe a bust yet, or Rice, or Dominguez. But Cabrera isn't playing to his potential. Peraza's been awful. Heel was developed by Minnesota and then traded here. So pretty much every prospect that was developed, farm grown by the Yankees since Girardi left has been awful. At the major league level, that is. And I attribute that to one person, but and we'll get into that with the Boone contract extensions that aren't on here, but were discussed today, and we'll talk about that. Jake Cousins will not be ready for opening day due to forearm. Okay, so I mentioned that. Then last night, the Yankees went out and added some bullpen depth and Tyler Matzik. Yes, a new graphic, making all new graphics for the season. On a minors deal, per Mass Live, and I don't hate it. He has a lot of postseason experience. He was a world champion in 2021. If you'd like more information on Tyler Matzik, I wrote an article on him this morning. So please feel free to go and read it. So that's there. Let's see. They claimed a lefty off waivers today from the Minnesota Twins, lefty Brent Hendrick. They designated right-handed pitcher Owen White for assignment. They're playing bullpen musical chairs. So this is the Yankee bullpen outlook for 2025. I was able to fit 12 names on the graphic. So it's Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, Fernando Cruz, Jonathan Loaizaga, Ian Hamilton, Jake Cousins, Mark Leiter Jr., Tim Hill, Clayton Beater, Scott Efros, Andreas Gomez, and Tyler Matzik will all have pivotal roles in the season. Now, Loaizaga and Cousins will start the year on the IL, so that'll make way for other people who might be great in spring training and come up. We have to see. We don't know what the deal is with that. The starting pitching, yes, Network mentioned that Cookie Carrasco will be a depth piece. They put it on like the graphics board. Will Warren will also be a starting pitcher depth piece, and Marcus Stroman. So right now, in terms of depth in the pitching, the Yankees actually are very solid. Even if they lose Stroman, they're very solid depth-wise in terms of, okay, Carlos Carrasco, he might be old, but he's a vet who knows how to handle his shit and knows how to come out and knows how to pitch and knows how to play and knows how to get you a spot start, and he's okay with that. And then you got Will Warren, who, we didn't see a lot of last year, and he's still developing. Will Warren is still developing. But right now, the way it looked last year, he might be going in that category of the busts under Boone. And that might be an article I need to write one day. I'm going to put that on my list maybe when I get free time next off season because we're heading into the busy period. And then the projected lineup via Fangraphs or RotoChamp or both is, Volpe, Chisholm, Jazz, Goldschmidt, Belly, Stanton, Wells, Dominguez, Cabrera. I don't think that's the projected lineup. Brian Hoke had a different one that I'm going to put out later tomorrow. I'm trying to create all new graphics for everything going into next year. So literally 2 seconds before I was signing on, I was finishing the bullpen graphic to get up here. So I'll work on this one by next episode, and I'll have it up on social media as well. This is the Brian Hoke projection for this season. But spring training, pitchers and catchers reported today. Got some nice quotes. Everyone wants to get after it. Want to win a championship. Hope springs eternal, as Boone mentioned about 4 times today. And then I wrote a poem about in my creative writing class because we needed to write poems. And I'm like, well, it's starting to look like spring, so let's write about this. So hope springs eternal is, his message for like the 8th year in a row. Luke Weaver and Carlos Rodon were asked questions on the trader, and, people were going nuts. I'm going to give my take on this. Why? Why do Yankee beat reporters have to ask about him? He's gone. Leave it in the rear view. You think over at Met Camp they're asking about the Yankees? If you miss them, if you feel well for them, the asshole changed his phone number on these guys. You think he cares about you? Because he doesn't. He doesn't care. All right, he's over at Mets camp having fun because he's being paid $50 million a year to do nothing because he's going to get hurt in spring. You watch, Yankee fans. You watch. He's going to get hurt in spring. You know what? If there were a betting line on it on FanDuel, I would put money that Juan Soto will probably be either overweight, not in physical shape, or injured by opening day. Book it. And this isn't like salty Yankee fan talking. This is everyone's talking this guy up like he's the best. Judge is better. Whether you like what the moves the Yankees did this offseason or not, they added a lot. They got better. Maybe not offensively, but defensively. And you know what that leads to? And Cashman kind of alluded to it. And I think people aren't thinking about this enough. And I might have to write on it. This might be my next article coming out. People aren't thinking about this enough. The Yankees gave up a lot of unearned runs last season, or runs that shouldn't have been there because of defensive woes. You know, Glaber booting balls, Wells with the catcher interference, which they're going to work on with him. I have faith he'll be fine. Catcher interference, Rizzo not being great, LeMahieu struggles at third. Let's talk about that for a second. LeMahieu was not good defensively last year either. Cabrera was better. So that's something to look at too. So, and Soto being ass in left, and Grisham being awful in center that one game against Cincinnati, and Judge not being himself in center field, and Verdugo having misplays in right. In left, but he was pretty much solid. But he had a couple misplays that led to losses, directly to losses, balls that should have been caught. Volpe, simple ground balls that we can't glove. He is the least of my defensive worries. Volpe is. But now you combat that. Jazz Chisholm's a better second baseman, and probably will be a better hitter than Gleyber Torres was last year. He just will be. He will be more productive. I'll put it that way. Gleyber Torres did well at the end of the year, but overall wasn't productive enough for the Yankees. Didn't put up the offensive numbers that we expected from him coming in spring training. And I think that Jazz will. I think Jazz will be productive, driving in runs. He's going to need to be an RBI machine. Will he be able to do it? I think so. Because when you saw the pressure of the leadoff spot taken off him, he batted .280 with the Yankees last season. He didn't do that with Miami. He wants to be here. He's excited to be here. He was on a podcast. The Yanks have had the reel. He's playing second base. They told him this. He's going to be in one spot in the lineup consistently. They told him this. And he's excited. And he's excited to be a Yankee for a full season. That's what I like to see. You're going to have consistency at second. And defensively, he's very good. Volpe, very good defensively. Goldschmidt is better defensively than Rizzo was last year. Third base, depending on who's there, Peraza's fantastic defensively. Cabrera's fantastic defensively. You don't know what you're getting with LeMahieu. You know, the only defensive question I see is Dominguez in left. And I think it's stupid that they're putting him in left, but I understand why they're putting him in left. And for those who don't know why they're putting him in left, they're doing that because in the future, it's going to be easier to find a center fielder to play in Yankee Stadium than to find a left fielder to play in Yankee Stadium. And if they can have a young kid play the outfield at Steinbrenner Field and have time, and has been down there, I guess, over a month now, working with Luis Rojas on all this stuff, he's going to be fine. And I totally get that from a Yankee perspective. He's going to be just fine if he's really practicing. Now, if they go into spring training, they play the first couple of games, and he's dropping fly balls and he's misplaying balls, then that conversation needs to be had. And Bellinger can play anywhere and be elite. That conversation needs to happen. So overall, defensively, the amount of runs you're going to save might combat the runs you might lose if they stay inside. Now, who knows if they're staying inside? They might not. Who knows? Some say they will, some say they won't. Who knows? I have no clue. Um, Something came over. Um, I guess my king is not going to be traded from them. Yeah, this is a mess. This is a mess. Just the offseason in general moves. And Bregman's still unsigned, which is I think what's screwing the Yankees right now is Bregman being unsigned. Like if he's gonna take a 2-year deal, why not shoot your shot with it? A 2-year opt out after one. Why can't you offer Bregman the Alonso contract? Maybe no, you don't want 30 mil AAV a year. Well, if it's only 1 year, I'd offer the Alonso contract. They're not going to do that. All right. So I'm going to leave it there since there's not much left to say. Thank you for tuning in and please subscribe. And I'll see you next week or if a move happens, a big move. Have a great week. Let's go, Yankees.